It looks like Apple might have one big final surprise for 2025, and nobody's talking about it. Apple is well known for their one more thing, where they try to surprise and delight everybody for something that no one is supposed to expect, though we expect it because we follow the rumors and leaks. Let me sort of break down what could be coming from Apple over the next couple of weeks, what is so exciting and surprising and free, and also give a huge thanks to Vanta for sponsoring this video. Okay, now look, I would love to tell you that AirPods and colors are going to be a thing, and Apple is bringing back the iPod for this holiday only, but those are fun and wild, but they're not realistic. And what I really want to do in this video is be realistic. I have gone through all the patents, all the leaks, all the rumors, the reports from suppliers to find stuff that is actually done and ready, and that actually would make sense to launch before the end of this year. Think of things like AirTag version 2, for example. We know a second version of AirTag is ready. It's got better battery life, better location accuracy and tracking. That has sort of been done for months now and could be launching at any moment now, and same goes for an updated Apple TV and HomePod mini. We've heard these things are done, they're ready to go, and they could be dropping just like that. Okay, but in all honesty, that's kind of boring. What about something a little bit more exciting? What could really be a surprise that is plausible? Apple has been working on it, but nobody knows when it's coming. One or two I'll throw out that actually could be a thing are some lower cost versions of AirPods, both basic regular AirPods and then also a cheaper version of AirPods Max. Now the reason I say this is because there have been a number of reports that Apple has been working on some more budget entry-level AirPods, and given the fact that they're sort of pushing really much into the sort of budget category these days and more into 2026, more on that in a moment, and given the fact that people seem to love AirPods and AirPods Max, a budget version that's not radically different could actually make a lot of sense. For example, we had heard that budget AirPods could just be either a rebranded version of an older pair or a stripped down version of the current pair sold at $99, which in the world of Apple is very affordable. Same goes as well for a budget version of the AirPods Max. We had heard all the way since the first version of AirPods Max that a sport version or a cheaper version could be coming. The same could also be said for a new version of the iPad mini. Again, this is one of those experimental Apple products that doesn't get regular updates, so while iPad Air and iPad Pro, those will be reserved for proper 2026 event updates, iPad mini could be a little bit more of an experimental wild card, and we're hearing that right now, Apple might actually be making the iPad mini more like an iPad Pro mini, giving it an OLED display and some higher end silicon inside and making this thing way better. Also with that, there are some other obvious things, like it's been quite some time since Apple did a free sort of trial of any of their services. We've heard that Apple News, Apple Fitness Plus, Apple Arcade, those are all struggling, so a free trial of that might actually be warranted and maybe could drum up some excitement. And then also, if Apple wanted to sort of win over some new people and customers and sort of make themselves look like the good guy, which they could use that right now, why not give away a free month of Apple TV Plus to everybody? Like for the month of December, for the next 30 days, make all the Apple TV Plus, Severance, Pluribus, which is a cool new show, all that new stuff, make it free and let people stream it and enjoy it over the holidays, and then afterwards maybe they'll subscribe. Especially with Apple raising the price of TV Plus, they kind of need to justify that a little bit more and kind of also break out of their normal customer base. So free trial, a little un-Apple-like, but also, again, could make a lot of sense as a nice little freebie and surprise for everybody that we get as a little Christmas present from Santa Tim Claus. Also, I should mention, as fun as it is to go through all these surprise product releases we might see from Santa Tim Claus before the end of this year, if you're running a business, you don't want surprises happening, especially right now. All you want is safety, security, stability, things you can count on, which is exactly where Vanta is here to help. In fact, you can kind of think of Vanta as your always on, always available AI-powered security expert who is here to help you and scales with you. It's here to automate those cumbersome compliance tasks that take up a lot of your precious time, here to monitor your controls and give you a single point for compliance and risk so you can go out and build and scale your business and also build a business that customers can count on and trust. And it doesn't matter if you're a small startup just jumping into the game or you're a large established company, because Vanta can seamlessly fit into your existing workflows, and with customers all around the world, names you know of, trusting and loving Vanta every single day, now is the perfect time for you to jump in and build a business and scale a business you love and one that customers can trust, and let Vanta handle a lot of the compliance and security stuff for you. If you'd like to learn more and check it out for yourself today, of course, you can hit the link down below or scan the QR code on screen, and we're teaming up with Vanta to give you guys a $1,000 off special. So again, learn more, get started, and get some peace of mind today by scanning that QR code on screen or hitting the link down below. Now, when it comes to iPhone, I'll tell you, you shouldn't expect like a surprise iPhone Ultra or an iPhone Fold. And yeah, the rumors seem to be true that the iPhone 18 will be delayed starting next year with a fall and spring sort of mixed release cycle. But that does sort of leave an opportunity here for an E iPhone. So we have the 16E. If Apple does this sort of new revamped iPhone release cycle, that would be around the 18E. So where does the 17E land? What if Apple was to release the 17E now? Maybe there isn't enough needed for a spring event, or maybe Apple wants to reserve that for the new smart home stuff and the HomePod screen thing and all that. Maybe a 17E could make sense as a little surprise for the end of the year. Throw out a little bit of an update here, give us some new colors, give us a new price, and the rest is history. Of course, there are a number of other products that are basically ready to go that aren't super exciting for most of you, but for some of you, you might like we've heard a Studio Display version 2 is ready to go. We've heard, of course, Apple's gonna be launching this new budget-focused MacBook next year, though again, I think they'd wanna wait. That seems like a little bit of a bigger announcement than to sort of shoehorn into the end of the year. Obviously, new M5 Macs and things like that. But one other category I will mention that again could make sense to kind of throw in there before the end of the year is sort of some new accessories. Apple really doesn't do all that much in the accessory space. They have some cases that are very expensive and a little weird. They have their new like crossbody strap. They recently have gotten into these new like limited edition accessories, which have been really weird and just wildly expensive, but they seem to be selling out, so somebody's buying them. Not me for once, as big of an Apple fanboy as I am. I'm not buying an iPhone sock. But what if Apple was to sort of double down on their accessory space and offering and actually give us some more things? For example, people did like the MagSafe battery banks Apple had way back when, and now that they have one, it's only for the iPhone Air. So if Apple was to release more of a universal battery bank for different iPhones out there, including all the modern iPhones, that might actually go a long way. All right, so now let me ask you, what would you guys like to see from Apple before the end of the year? Do you think we could see any big surprises, one more things, anything in particular you'd like to see? Some free trials of Apple Music, Apple TV Plus? Let me know, drop a comment down below. Appreciate you guys as always watching. Thank you so much for your support. I'm Robert Rosenfeld. I'll see you all in the next one.